I'm Dana Shagru with CEAg World Greenhouse Produce, an innovative brand that engages with the rapidly expanding global greenhouse produce industry through a variety of platforms. Our mission is to educate and connect greenhouse produce growers and industry allies to help them better understand and sustainably advance the global food industry. On this episode of CEAg Talks, I'll be speaking to Tomas Geurts, Source.ag's general manager in North America, about how using data AI can benefit CEA operations. Thomas, welcome to CEAg Talks.
Thank you.
So to begin, do you want to tell our viewers a little bit about your role and about Source.ag?
Absolutely. My name is Thomas. I am the general manager from North America. I've been with the company for about 3 years, and I'm part of Source.ag, and Source is a company that builds solutions to support greenhouse growers across the globe to help them improve their operations, reduce their costs, improve their yields, and ultimately improve their profitability.
In your experience, what are a few of the most common reasons why CEA growers use AI in their facilities? What is the main problem they're trying to address?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a few concrete examples, right? What I'll touch upon in a second. There's definitely some very concrete use cases. I think ultimately we're also still in a phase where we're trying to where we're building the understanding of what is kind of the art of the possible, right? Because now when I talk to a grower, of course, it's always like, okay, maybe can we do yield prediction? And can we use AI to do yield prediction better? And yes, we can. And that's one of the solutions Source offers, right? But I think that we're also still working as an industry to figure out, okay, but then what is kind of beyond the direct line of sight? What is possible beyond that? And if I now see what's happening with AI in some other industries, then I think that we're in for a treat. There's going to be a lot happening in the coming 5 to 10 years, also in our industry, where, for example, you could ask this AI, okay, I kind of want to go that direction with my crop. I want to have these yields in these weeks because, for example, let me give a good example. There's some sort of big sports event, and I know that there's a lot of burgers being eaten by the time. So there's going to be a lot of demand for tomatoes. So I really want to kind of fine-tune my strategy so that I have the peak exactly in the week before that big sports event. How should I adjust my cultivation strategy already to kind of get there? Now, if I would tell that to somebody, they'll be looking at me, yeah, okay, but that's not really feasible. It's not possible, and I cannot do that. And let me also be fair. We're not there yet as an industry that AIs can already do that. But I think we are going to see this type of development very soon. It's also something that we are internally, for example, looking at a lot. How can we be more of a proactive advisor? How can AI be more of a proactive advisor to a grower? And I think this is going to be game-changing. I think this is really going to be game-changing. A big part of why these companies produce is so that they then can sell that, right? And be able to sell something, you need to know, okay, but what do I have available to sell? And the earlier you know what you can sell, I mean, the more kind of agreement you can get with your customers. So in the case of growing companies, that's retailers typically. So yield predictions and medium to long term yield predictions, yield forecasts is crucial, essential for these businesses. But nothing is ever changing as crops and the weather, right? And of course, these crops are influenced by the weather. And as a grower, you have some form of control. But also not unlimited control, and especially during certain parts of the year, you also kind of have to roll with what you get from Mother Nature. I think the second one is autonomous control, and that's really about, okay, but how can we run certain parts of the greenhouse in a autonomous or semi-autonomous fashion? As I mentioned earlier, I don't believe in kind of like greenhouses with no grower at all. I don't think that will be there. I also don't think that's necessarily what we need right now. What we do need is that there are certain decisions that a grower needs to make a lot. Computers can help, maybe even do it better, some decisions, or at least do it as good as the grower. And then we need to wonder, okay, but if the biggest problem we're trying to solve for is making those growers more scalable, allowing them to operate more greenhouses, then are there certain tasks and activities and decisions that AI can automate so that the grower has more time left to do other things, to water their crop an extra time, to talk to the resistant growers once more, etc., etc.
In your experience, why do you think some growers decide not to use AI in their operations?
And that's a great question. Yeah, so I've seen different examples, right? And I must say that the growers that I've been talking to and working with here in North America, that almost all of them are interested in and are eager to try, because they all realize that technological innovation is something that this industry has been known for so long, right? I mean, technological innovation has been happening for decades across all different sorts of facets. Think the first climate computer, think artificial lining, think rock wool substrates, you name them. So the growers, the entrepreneurs in this industry, there is this sort of spirit of embracing technological innovation. At the same time, it's also a relatively thin margin industry, right? They need to be able to justify, okay, but then if we are going to take on this new tool, use this new technology, how much is it going to bring us down the line? That makes a lot of sense. And so one of my colleagues here in North America, Ashley, she's a sales manager at Source. She used to work in Lightning for a long time, and she has told me many times about how it was. She was in Lightning for 10 years, and she told me that in the first kind of years of being in Lightning, and she was selling LED lights, and the first years, like, it was so difficult to convince growers that LED lights, that it had a positive ROI, and that it was kind of that it was a justified investment, and it was a lot of work, a lot of education, etc. I think now, today, I don't have to convince anybody anymore that LED lights are a positive ROI, right? Everybody knows. And of course, also the industry got better at kind of expressing the ROI, calculating that for growers, but that took time. That didn't happen overnight. With new technology, it always takes time. So I think that kind of brings me to at least one sort of reason why growers decide not to use AI just yet in their operations. I think it's with new technology, it takes time before we can very clearly show direct ROI. I think as time will pass, we will see this happening as we will build more use cases of growers that see that they have an uplift in yield, a reduction of cost, an increase in profitability after using such technology that will accelerate the adoption in this industry. Yeah, I think the second thing is that I was talking earlier also, where does this have an amazing impact, is that it's the medium to bigger sized companies that maybe have ambitious growth targets, that are trying to serve a bigger market, that are maybe having an aging workforce and have difficulty replacing their experienced growers. So there I see like an amazing amount of value to have an AI that supports these growers in sort of co-pilot fashion, allowing these experienced growers to do more or junior growers to be educated faster. If you have a single greenhouse, maybe, I don't know, think of a 5 acre, something along those lines. In that greenhouse, maybe you would even grow multiple crops. You don't really have a lot of people employed. You might be even running it yourself. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if AI is going to make that much of a difference, if that's going to be such a big needle mover for you. I don't know. And maybe it will at some point in time, but probably in this phase, if I would be in their position, I'm not sure I would recommend it. So I think it's also, what are your objectives as a company? What are you trying to achieve as a company? And then what are the bottlenecks in trying to achieve that objective, as to kind of why we would decide to recommend AI or not recommend AI. Yeah, and I think in general, what, of course, and this is a bit more broader, and I'm also not fully convinced if I see that same kind of doubt among growers. But I think companies building AI solutions, what we need to be very mindful of is to ensure that growers will be able to understand, hey, but how does the AI get to a certain outcome? How does the AI get to a certain advice or a prediction? Because as I've been emphasizing quite a few times, it's about a co-pilot, right? Somebody that supports the grower, empowers the grower to kind of do more. But they will only work. The grower will only trust kind of the advice from its co-pilot or its partner if they understand why. Why am I getting this advice? Why am I seeing this number?
Well, Thomas, those are all the questions that I had for you for our talk today, but I really appreciate you setting some time to chat more about AI and its applications in CEA.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was really nice speaking to you again, and hope we get more opportunities in the future to continue sharing thoughts, exchanging thoughts.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Thank you.